So the Cyberpunk 1.2 patch just came out, and you saw that long list of changes, and you said, I'm not going to read that, I wish someone would read this to me. Well, ask and you shall receive. Here we go with the Cyberpunk 1.2 patch notes. Patch 1.2 for Cyberpunk 2077 is coming to PC, consoles, and Stadia soon. Already done. Here's a list of the most notable changes upcoming in this update. Please note that the issues listed below did not affect all players. Gameplay. The NCPD spawn radius for when the player commits a crime has been increased. New steering sensitivity slider added to control settings. Allows reducing steering speed for all vehicles and on all input devices, particularly useful for keyboard users. Adjusted the vehicle steering code to work better in low and extreme high frame rate situations to produce more consistent results. Improved steering on base consoles notably. Unstuck rocking rotating feature added to all vehicles. Use left stick or ADWS or left shift control to engage rocking and rotating to stuck beach vehicles to try to free them. Minor driving model tune revisions to some vehicles to improve steering, cure excessive body roll and oversteer. Fixed an issue where aiming while under the effect of the Berserk cyberware moved the crosshair with no input from the player. Adjusted fire rate of the helicopter turret in Love Like Fire. Police vehicles will no longer immediately despawn after getting into Carrie's car during Rebel. Fix an issue where projectile launch system had no cooldown. Bump reaction for friendly NPCs has been disabled. Fixed an issue where grappled enemies played voice lines as if the player bumped into them. Using Zetatech Standovisten Mark I cyberware now correctly slows time. Player can no longer cancel fall damage by performing a slide action when about to fall from greater heights. It is no longer possible to perform Gorilla Arms finishers against civilians. Fixed an issue where V could get pushed too far by a speeding vehicle. If V picks up a body containing a quest item, the item will now be automatically added to the inventory. Fixed an issue where a civilian running from a driving player could react incorrectly. Picking up or grappling an NPC with a burning or EMP status now transfers the status to the player. Improved jacking in interactions with forklifts. Fixed an issue where dodging right after the Kolesnikov cyberware effect ended resulted in pushing V a great distance forward. Fixed an issue where enemies did not fall on the ground after being killed with synapse burnout. Fixed an issue where breach protocol was not working correctly against Sasquatch. Fixed an issue preventing Placide from being taken down in stealth. Short circuit quick hacks damage over time will no longer finish off defeated enemies. Cyber psychos and mini-bosses are now immune to tranquilizer rounds and system reset quick hack. Fixed an issue where stacking cooldown reduction over 100% could result in blocking quick hacks. V can no longer use consumables in situations where scene context would not support it. Clothing vendors now sell items more suitable for the location. Cat food needed to adopt nibbles can now be bought at several food shops around Night City. The item for resetting perk points, Tabula Rasa, can now be bought at a reduced price. Reduce the amount of higher quality crafting components needed to craft iconic items. Fixed an issue where V could get stuck in empty buildings when exiting a vehicle parked close to a wall. Data is now correctly displayed when scanning the Miltech Manticore AV. Fixed the prompt on an unavailable vehicle door that said locked. Fixed an issue where dumping a body in the trunk started the vehicle's engine. Fixed an issue where NPCs turning the steering wheel broke their upper body animations. Gorilla Arms damage has been increased by 20%. Reduced prices of Kiroshi Optics fragment recipes. Reduced power of revolver-wielding NPCs. Fixed an issue where disassembling part of a stack granted the number of experience as if the entire stack was disassembled. Disassembling grenades now properly grants common and uncommon components. Extending the sliding ladder won't result in players' death if they are below it. Fix several door blockers that can make an enemy NPC stuck, preventing them from being killed. Fixed an issue that caused NPCs to trip over other NPCs too often. V should now automatically unequip a charged grenade when entering safe areas. Fixed an issue where pedestrians could get teleported after being hit by a vehicle. Transmigration trait is now unlockable at Breach Protocol level 20 rather than 16. Players who unlock Transmigration pre-level 20 and did not yet reach that level will have the trait locked and perk points for it restored. Getting knocked down by vehicles no longer kills V after unlocking the Rock perk. Fixed an issue where switching the weapon in the inventory 2 times in a row could result in the weapon not being displayed in-game. Fixed an issue where completion of the Wasteland achievement could be blocked under certain circumstances. Multiple GPS improvements and fixes for the pathing in various activities and quests. Fixed an issue where one of the laser trip mines in Gig, Wakako's favorite, would not explode upon walking over the laser. Fixed instances of NPCs not entering combat when the player approached them and reported crime, a stroke of luck. Fixed an access point sinking into level geometry in Gig, Greed Never Pays. Fixed an issue where one of the laser trip mines in Gig, Greed Never Pays, could not be interacted with. Breaking a window during Gig on a tight leash will now properly alarm nearby NPCs. A certain enemy NPC should now properly attack V in melee during Gig. Welcome to America, comrade. Fix Cyber Psycho's behavior at the beginning of combat during Cyber Psycho sighting House on a Hill. Fixed AV collision to avoid the player being pushed off or stuck in suspected organized crime activity opposites attract. Fixed track map markers flying off the minimap occasionally. Fixed an issue where throwing multiple grenades in quick succession could make V equip an incorrect grenade. Fixed inactive breach protocol option in suspected organized crime activity. New boss, new rules. Fixed River Ward's behavior while following the player in The Hunt. Fixed an issue where enemies at the crash site in Life During Wartime were not able to attack the player at range. Fixed an issue where one of the scabs would not alarm others after finding a body during the rescue. Jackie should no longer use stealth chatter just before combat in The Heist. Fixed an issue where an exploding mine would not alarm nearby enemies in Gig. Goodbye, Night City. Pan Am now occupies a different sniping spot during the fight with the Raffins in Ghost Town. Fixed an issue where Rogue would idle after the elevator ride in Arasaka Tower during Never Fade Away. Fixed an issue in the pickup, where the detonator and all foods could not be interacted with. Jackie will now empty his clip before reloading in The Rescue. The Cyber Psycho in Cyber Psycho Sighting Second Chances should now respond to the player attacking at range correctly. Corrected use of cover for friendly NPCs. Fixed an issue where Pan Am's car could get launched in the air in With a Little Help from My Friends. Fixed an issue where a Delamain cab would launch into the air after leaving Afterlife in The Heist. Fixed an issue where other cars in the race in The Beast and Me City Center could get teleported under certain circumstances, causing the player to drop to last place. The car will no longer be misplaced after skipping the ride to the Pies restaurant with Joshua in The Sinner Man. Quests. Posters in Stadium Love can no longer be destroyed before the contest, which could lead to block progression. They Won't Go When I Go now updates properly if V leaves the studio early. Fix the inability to draw weapons at the Poppy Farm during The Hunt. Fix an issue where using grapple on gang members could break progression in Stadium Love. The pickup no longer gets blocked if Dum Dum dies at the exact same time as the last enemy. The pickup no longer gets blocked if the player attacks Maelstrom before entering all foods. It's now possible to download eddies from Crack Mill Tech Shard if it was not used during the pickup. The penthouse from The Path of Glory can no longer be accessed earlier in the game. Cyber Psycho Sighting Bloody Ritual now triggers properly regardless of which way the player approaches the quest area. Takamura's appearance is now present in the Hollow Call in Life During Wartime. Fixed an issue where Rogue would keep repeating the same dialogue line in Never Fade Away. Fixed an issue where V could get stuck in Rogue's booth in Ghost Town. Fixed an issue where Mr. Hands would not call V after finishing Double Life. Fixed an issue where Teddy, Carol, and Cassidy would repeat their movements if a player reloaded the game during the last conversation in Gun Music. Fix an issue where a hollow call from Regina would cut off, but persist on screen upon arriving at one of the Cyber Psycho sighting sites. Fix an issue where meeting with Pan Am while on a hollow call with her in Ghost Town could block progression. Pan Am now properly says her final dialogue line in All Along the Watchtower. It's no longer possible to get into Delamain in Badlands while riding a motorcycle, which could result in crashes or getting stuck in a third-person perspective. It's no longer possible to leave the quest area while inside the Basilisk in the Queen of the Highway. Fixed an issue where it was not possible to interact with Panam if player used fast travel during the last scene of Queen of the Highway. It's no longer possible for Frank's hollow call to interrupt a conversation with the Nomads by the Basilisk in Queen of the Highway. Bob and Mitch will no longer clip through the flatbed while entering it in With a Little Help from My Friends. Fixed an issue preventing the player from receiving hollow calls if they left the Nomad camp immediately after delivering the flatbeds in With a Little Help from My Friends. It's no longer possible for Nomads to get stranded behind the gate of the Netrunner's nest in Arasaka Tower in Belly of the Beast. Fixed an issue preventing player from receiving hollow calls if they left the train station during With a Little Help from My Friends. Fixed additional context where Jackie could be missing from in front of All Foods Factory during the pickup. V can no longer leave Jinguji in the middle of the combat with Cyber Psycho and bullets and block the quest's progress. Calling Nancy from Totentans or escaping the club in the middle of the quest no longer blocks progress of holding on. Fixed an issue where music in Totentans would be missing if player left and came back to the club. Fixed an additional scenario where Dum Dum could be missing from in front of the Totentans entrance in the second conflict. It will no longer be possible to see the decoration change in Denny's villa during Holding On. It's no longer possible to use guns near the arcades during the Raymond Chandler evening fistfight. You can no longer pull an Indiana Jones in El Coyote Cojo. It is now possible to open Barry's door from the inside after re-entering his apartment in Happy Together. Happy Together now instantly fails if the player breaks the law near the NCPD officers. In order to complete the try talking to Barry in a few hours objective at the end of Happy Together, player now needs to leave the immediate area of Barry's apartment and come back after a few hours have passed. When the Aldecados move or leave Night City, all signs of their old camp will now be cleaned up. It's no longer possible to be blocked out of combat in Forward to Death while driving the Basilisk through the construction site. Fixed an issue where a like Supreme would not start correctly if Second Conflict's final scene was rushed. Fixed an issue where Second Conflict could get blocked if player rushed into the elevator with Nancy and Totentans. The objective in the first brain dance in The Hunt is now more clear. Killing in the Name now fails automatically if the player fails chipping in. The TV in Tom's Diner can no longer be destroyed. If a player destroyed it before this update, it will now be fixed, and the news will be displayed correctly to progress playing for time. Fixed a rare scenario where the painting wouldn't appear in the drop pod in Space Oddity. It's no longer possible to get stuck in the water of the power plant after leaving the area in Lightning Breaks. Space Oddity no longer spawns multiple paintings blocking the quest's progress. Fixed an issue where leaving and returning after the briefing in Riders on the Storm would block the quest's progress. Cyber Psycho sighting smoke on the water no longer reappears in the journal after being completed. Fixed an issue where the router in Killing in the Name would not be interactable if the player left and returned to the quest area. Automatic Love's progress will no longer get blocked by an invisible wall in Judy's workshop. Fixed an issue where a like Supreme could get blocked if a player rushed to the toilet to take a pill before finishing the conversation with Nancy. Max Tack will now interact with V even if the Cyber Psycho was killed solo before their arrival to Jinguji in Bullets. In the pickup, it's no longer possible to trigger both scenarios at the same time, a peaceful deal with Maelstrom and fighting them. Jackie will no longer get stuck in All Foods if you sneak past the boss fight with Royce. Fixed an issue where it was impossible to take an elevator to Embers in Nocturne OP55N1. Fixed an issue where the player would be stuck without the phone and weapons upon leaving the shooting range before talking to Wilson in Shoot to Thrill. Jesse would no longer disappear while getting out of the car in Burning Desire Night Moves if the player took too long to get to the Ripper Dock. Fixed an issue that resulted in the player's vehicle falling under the map after colliding with a white truck in Burning Desire Night Moves. Fixed an issue preventing the player from receiving hollow calls if they left the monk without meditating in Imagine, Stairway to Heaven, Poem of the Atoms, or Meetings Along the Edge. Fixed an issue where player would sometimes not receive hollow calls from Delamain in Epistrophe. Destroying North Oak Delamain no longer prevents player from talking to the monk in Poem of the Atoms. Fixed an issue where I Fought the Law could get stuck on the Talk to Jefferson objective. Fixed an issue where leaving both sides, now quests area could prevent the player from starting other side quests. Maiko now correctly dies when pushed down from Mega Building H8 in Pisces. Judy no longer follows the player around the world if they left the quest area before entering the Braindance studio in Disaster Piece. Fixed an issue where V could get stuck in one of the dollhouse booths during Automatic Love. Fixed an issue where Coin-Operated Boy could get blocked if the player didn't talk to Brendan immediately after seeing his conversation with a girl. Fixed an issue in the space in between where a conversation with Fingers would not start if V sneaked into his office through the window. Fixed an issue where Panam's quest-related dialogue options could be missing before getting into the Basilisk in Queen of the Highway. Cyber Psycho sighting Lex Talionis is now correctly marked on the map. Fixed an issue where leaving the quest area too quickly before Claire reached her car in The Beast in Me would prevent the player from starting other quests. Fixed an issue where The Beast in Me, Santo Domingo Race, and A Day in the Life could be active at the same time, causing some problems. Fixed an issue where fast-forwarding the scene with Sandra Dorset in the bathtub in The Rescue would result in Trauma Team not arriving at the balcony. Added a physical reward from Regina for defeating all the cyber psychos that can be found in her office. Fixed an issue where Takamura would sometimes not call back after doing the reconnaissance alone in Gimme Danger. Fixed an issue where V could get stuck on the roof of Fingers' clinic. Fixed an issue where no more main missions would appear after finishing playing for time. Quest icon is now correctly removed from Johnny's clothing set after Breathtaking achievement has been unlocked. It's no longer possible to get locked out of the Silver Pixel Cloud Cinema in Blistering Love. Fix an issue where skipping time in Blistering Love could block the quest progression. Rogue no longer disappears if the player took too long to take the pills in Blistering Love. Fix an issue where Rogue would not leave the car upon arriving at the Silver Pixel Cloud Cinema in Blistering Love. Fix an issue where the player would not be able to continue the main storyline after completing Search and Destroy. Fix an issue preventing the player from talking to Theo in Coin-Operated Boy. Fix an issue where Cyber Psycho sighting On Deaf Ears wouldn't count as completed if V killed the Cyber Psycho before finishing the holocall brief with Regina. For players who already finished the quest, it will be marked as completed. Talk to Kirk objective is now correctly marked on the map in Small Man Big Mouth. Reloading autosave created on the encounter at Ebunike during Chippin' In no longer results in replaying Johnny's dialogue. Fixed an issue where Grayson could be immortal during the encounter at Ebunike in Chippin' In if met on the lower deck or attacked from a large distance. Fixed an issue that could prevent player from leaving the quest area by car in Chippin' In. Fixed Rogue's erratic movements during Grayson's interrogation in Chippin' In. Fixed an issue preventing player from killing Grayson during the interrogation scene if he wasn't damaged during combat in Chippin' In. It is now possible to talk to Mitch about the Panzer training and complete the optional objective in We Gotta Live Together. It's no longer possible to get blocked when drinking and chatting with the veterans in We Gotta Live Together. Fixed an issue in the pickup where a player could trigger the combat with Royce while being outside all foods, which blocked the quest progression. Fixed an issue that could cause the door to Lizzie's bar to become sealed if the player decided to walk away from the entrance in The Information. Fixed an issue where calling Wakako from the journal during a conversation with Judy could block both conversations. Misty can no longer get killed by a stray bullet in Heroes. Fixed an issue that could block progression if the player took Panam's Overwatch rifle and disassembled it before she offered it to V in Riders on the Storm. Fixed an issue that could block the drive to the Wraith camp if the player abandoned the quest midway through in Riders on the Storm. Fixed an issue that could block progression when performing a save load cycle while escaping the Wraith camp through the pipe in Riders on the Storm. Quest objective now properly updates if player rushes through the pipe to find Saul in Riders on the Storm. It is now possible to go alone straight to the camp without waiting for Panam in Riders on the Storm. It is no longer possible to reactivate Pyramid Song by returning to the quest area and jumping into the water after it already failed. Skippy will now properly count NPCs that were killed or defeated with his help, regardless of installed mods and cyberware. Conversation with Skippy will be adjusted to the player's actions more dynamically. It is now possible to use weapons at the entirety of Batty's hotel back parking lot. Fix an issue that prevented the player from talking to the NCPD officers at the beginning of Happy Together. Happy Together will now fail immediately if the NCPD officers spot V carrying a dead body. Fix an issue with the jacket being not available if the player loots and disassembles it before talking to Kirk in the Small Man Big Mouth quest. Mammon Bridget will now always properly answer V's phone call in transmission. Placide's call will no longer be interrupted by other calls in I Walk the Line. Fix an issue where Dum Dum could be present in Totentance during second conflict and become hostile towards V, blocking progress even though he was killed during the pickup. Fix an issue where the guards wouldn't move away from the elevator door in Nocturne OP55N1 if the player backed away while approaching it for the first time. Fix an issue that prevented the player from selecting destination after getting into the AV in the Corpo Wrap. It is no longer possible to leave the basketball field near Lizzie's bar prematurely in the Corpo Wrap. Fix an issue where the player could not move after losing a fight against Rhino in Beat on the Brat. Fix an issue where it was not possible to talk to Jackie after finishing the scene with Victor in the Ripper Dock. Fix an issue where Maelstromers wouldn't spawn when player used another path to reach Nancy's room instead of following Patricia in second conflict. Fix an issue where under certain circumstances players would become locked out of certain abilities by taking a ride with River in I Fought the Law but then abandoning the quest. Fix an issue where Nancy could disappear while being escorted out from Totentance in second conflict. Fix an issue where the elevator in Totentance could stop on the second floor instead of the ground floor after V interacted with its panel in second conflict. Delamain now only calls once when V is close to a lost cab in Epistrophe, instead of calling each time V is in the vicinity of a lost cab. Fix an issue that could lead to equipment not getting properly removed or items getting lost inside the scavenger's apartment in Sweet Dreams. It's no longer possible to destroy the car with the mysterious conspirators inside in the Prophet Song, which prevented the player from looting the chip. It's no longer possible to kill Gary after killing the nomads in the Prophet Song, which therefore can be completed now. The journal entry will be cleaned. Fix an issue where interacting with Misty in her shop would not be possible if the player left Heroes mid-quest to pursue Fool on the Hill. Completing Cyber Psycho now rewards the player with experience. Increase the value of Liam's bribe and violence. Various other quest improvements and fixes. Open World. Fix an issue where it was impossible to complete the objective for destroying the flamingos if they were destroyed before the objective was active in Epistrophe Rancho Coronado. Collisions will no longer fail to stream in randomly during driving, which could lead to V driving into buildings and falling out of the world. Destructibles will no longer become indestructible after loading a save. Fix an issue where some NCPD hustles were not marked as finished after looting the objective container. Fix an issue where achievements for completing district activities were not always unlocked. Failing gig, no fixers, will no longer block the Wasteland achievement. Fix an issue where completed NCPD hustles were not always counted properly towards the jungle achievement. Fix an issue where collecting an additional reward did not end the gig properly in gig, no fixers. Fixed an issue where V could be unable to interact with the computer and upload the virus in gig, a lack of empathy. It is no longer possible to complete some parts of the gig before getting the contract in gig, the frolics of Councilwoman Cole. Huabango will no longer get stuck inside a car in gig, Flight of the Cheetah, which could lead to block progression. Fix an issue where V sometimes could not talk to Anna Hamill in gig, Woman of La Mancha. Fix an issue where combat would not always interrupt dialogue with Anna Hamill in gig, Woman of La Mancha. Fix an issue where some dialogue lines could be missing during holo calls. V will no longer be unable to move after finishing gig on a tight leash. Interaction with the van in gig, Radar Love, will no longer disappear before returning it, which could lead to block progression. Looting medicines right after getting to Corporal Hare's room will no longer block progression in gig, Backs Against the Wall. Gig for My Son will no longer get blocked if Logan dies during holocall with Muammar El Capitan Reyes. Fix an issue where V could get stuck in combat in any gig until all enemies were defeated. It is no longer possible to stop the fixer's car in the middle of the road in gig Getting Warmer, which could lead to block progression. Max Jones will no longer leave his room in gig Freedom of the Press before V comes in if V starts shooting the turrets. Guards will no longer get stuck in the elevator in gig, Fixer, Merc, Soldier, Spy. V will no longer get stuck behind the desk in the hospital lobby in Gig Cuckoo's Nest. It is no longer possible to talk to Max Jones after using Short Circuit Quick Hack on him in Gig Freedom of the Press. It is no longer possible to start combat with Anna Hamill while being in apartment one floor below in Gig Woman of La Mancha. Fix an issue where the urinary stream could still be visible after NPCs stopped peeing and moved away from the spot. NPCs will no longer stay blocked on traffic lanes while in fear. NPC hit by car will now immediately run in panic now. Added vehicle animation variations for pedestrians running away from a vehicle. Fixed the issue where the arcade machines did not display any games in a pachinko parlor in Jig Street. Added the missing animation for opening the doors in several quests. Improved force opening doors animation. Added missing unauthorized prompt for elevators protected by authorization. Various immersion improvements and fixes in the open world encounters and gigs. Cinematic design. Progress will no longer be blocked when player chooses the Corpo line twice while talking to Hanako in the safe house during Search and Destroy. Fix an issue that could block progression if the player reached Wakako before Takamura in Down on the Street. Takamura will no longer teleport to Wakako if the player chooses to go alone in Down on the Street. Fix the camera issue when exiting the car at the beginning of The Last Caress. Fix an issue that could block the player from using the ladder in the security room in Gimme Danger. Jackie will no longer disappear when entering the elevator after a peaceful deal with Maelstrom in The Pickup. River Ward will no longer have a gun attached to his hand when saving V from the infected brain dance in I Fought the Law. Dum Dum will no longer walk on air when leading V to Royce in Second Conflict. River Ward will no longer walk through the elevator's door frame when entering it in I Fought the Law. Jackie's guns will no longer disappear when V is knocking down Royce in The Pickup. Player will no longer have a weapon equipped during the romance scene with Judy in Pyramid Song. Maiko will no longer walk through the couch in Pisces. Fixed an issue in New Dawn Fades that resulted in having doubled sunglasses in the ending cutscene. Fixed an issue that could block progression in Gig Hippocratic Oath when injecting the patient with synthetic blood. Fixed the subtitle issue displaying debug text in Pyramid Song when playing in Polish. Fixed an issue in New Dawn Fades that resulted in having doubled guitar in the ending cutscene. Fixed the camera issue in Never Fade Away. Junkie at the Atlantis Club will no longer glitch in Never Fade Away. Fixed Corporal Hair sliding animation in the Gig Backs Against the Wall. Unified the distance of dialogue interaction in Pyramid Song. Fixed an issue in Pyramid Song which resulted in an option to talk to Judy on the pier while V was underwater. Fixed an issue in Gig Last Login which resulted in Ripper Doc Charles smiling throughout the conversation without a reason. Judy will no longer play the wrong animation sequence if V declines to stay in the hut in Pyramid Song. Fixed an issue that resulted in a failed objective when killing the truck driver in Sinnerman. Fixed an issue of endless walking on the treadmill in Where's My Mind, which blocked progression. Fixed an issue which doubled tablet in Where's My Mind. Fixed an issue where Saul had the rifle attached to his hand after the car chase in Riders on the Storm. Fixed an issue where Pan Am was not holding a whiskey bottle correctly while raising a toast in Riders on the Storm. Fixed missing UI dialogue elements and misleading placement of UI dialogue when talking to Pan Am in Riders on the Storm. Fixed the camera issue in getting out of the van in Riders on the Storm. Added depth of field effect to the player's view at significant moments. Fixed missing personnel link in Life During Wartime. Fixed an issue where Hellman's personal link could be found floating in Life During Wartime. Fixed overlapping dialogue between V and Pan Am in Life During Wartime. Fixed an issue in Ghost Town that caused the glass in Rogue's hand to be misplaced when playing in languages other than English. Added touchscreen animations in Pan Am's car in lightning breaks and Life During Wartime. Phone will no longer disappear from the NPC's hand in the afterlife scene of Ghost Town. Fixed an NPC T-posing in the dollhouse in Automatic Love. Teddy will no longer be teleported away at the scene at the abandoned railroad station in With a Little Help from My Friends. Fixed an issue that could block progression when giving Pan Am cover during the deal with 6th Street in Ghost Town. Car lights will no longer stay on after the car battery dies in Ghost Town. Saul will no longer clip through Panam's car in Forward to Death. Fix players' camera animations in Lightning Breaks. Fix Panam's gun equipment animation in the AV scene in Life During Wartime. Fix the visual issue with Mantis Blades after a car crash in Playing for Time. Corrected camera behavior after interacting with the drawer at the police lab in The Hunt. Soldiers who were missing guns when Smasher appears in Love Like Fire are now armed. A disabled turret visible while flying to Arasaka Tower in Love Like Fire works properly now. Fix an issue that caused Rogue to be misplaced while approaching Arasaka Tower in Love Like Fire. Fix an issue that caused Spider Murphy to disappear after jumping from the helicopter in Love Like Fire. Victor will no longer teleport to the chair when the player leaves the clinic before taking a seat in the Ripper Dock. Fix the camera issue when driving to the Mega Building in The Rescue. Fix an issue in Nocturne OP55N1 where petting the cat would play without dialogue. V will now properly address the cat, even without Misty's answer. After Boat drinks, Carrie will now hum his song while walking to his car. Fix V's reaction to Johnny's decision in Changes. Fix synchronization in Atom Smasher's animation in Changes when playing in Polish. Now stomping should stomp as intended. Fix the drone in front of the chapel in Map Tan Pelen. Polish scene in Maiko's office in X Factor. Fix an issue that could break progression when raising your hand at the wrong time during the dinner scene and following the river. Fix the interaction range to get in the AV in the Corpo Rat. Fix missing NPC being thrown away from the toilet during a Cool Metal Fire sequence. Added missing scene to the Japanese version in a Cool Metal Fire sequence. It's no longer possible to drive away without Johnny when picking up the Porsche for the first time during Chippin' In. Leave no Johnny behind. In Talkin' About a Revolution, depth of field now resets after leaving Judy's apartment. Field of view now goes back to its set value and V sits up to talk to Johnny after watching brain dances in Double Life. Fix facial animations in all the scenes where V leans on the mirrors throughout the game. Initial dialogue with Takamura in Down on the Street can now be interrupted and restored. Fix an issue where Johnny could be unable to connect to the access point in Love Like Fire. Fix an interaction with Mitch after skipping dialogue in We Gotta Live Together. V no longer gets stuck in a sitting position after connecting to Panam's car in Life During Wartime. Fix an issue that prevented the player from controlling the turret and could block progression in Love Like Fire. Added missing family photo during the scene with Hanako in Play It Safe. Fix an issue with Detective Han's cigarette in I Fought the Law. Characters no longer teleport near the player while in a holocall dialogue. Fix multiple issues with V wearing the wrong clothes in third-person perspective. Fix multiple issues during sex scenes. Improve the interruption system for scenes. Fix an issue where the stalker wouldn't arrive at the bridge in Every Breath You Take. Fix an issue where Judy would stand up from the chair in the scene between brain dances in Double Life. Fix multiple issues with important quest NPCs randomly missing animations during cinematics. Interrupting dialogue will now stop the voiceover line. Fix multiple issues with NPCs mounting vehicles. Fix Jackie's pose and grip on the motorcycle's handlebar in the pickup. Environment and levels. The objective will no longer get stuck on neutralize the attackers in Dream On. V will no longer get stuck inside an AV flying off if standing on pipes during suspected organized crime activity opposites track. Fix an issue where 2 fast travel points were missing map pins. Fix multiple issues related to improper NPC behavior in combat. For example, not changing to the correct attack mode or getting stuck in a location. Fix multiple issues related to NPCs not reacting to V's presence or not entering combat properly. Fix multiple issues related to NPCs clipping with objects. Fix a number of issues related to wrong or missing content of lootable items. Fix multiple issues related to V not being able to interact with lootable items. Fix multiple issues related to improper functioning of devices such as cameras, turrets, or mines. Fix an issue where basilisks could fall under the map when the door leading to Mikoshi is reached. Fix an issue where Lieutenant Maurer had a high chance to die in collisions, blocking the Cyber Psycho hunt. Fix an issue where it was very difficult to access the computer in the back of the gas station in Life During Wartime. Fix the misspelled Leaving Night City sign. Fix the glitch scaffolding in Hayward, Vista del Rey. Fix multiple issues where players could fall off of the map due to gaps and missing collisions. Fix multiple issues where players could reach unintended areas, potentially blocking quest progression. Fix multiple issues with disappearing or misplaced assets. Fix multiple issues with assets floating in the air. Fix multiple issues with assets appearing or changing appearance on site. Fix some issues with parts of assets missing, allowing the player to see inside. Fix issues where rain would be present in covered areas. Fix issues with invisible colliders present on locations. Fix multiple issues with higher resolution textures failing to stream in. Graphics, audio, animation. Fix NPCs moving after being killed. Improvements in textures rendered from afar. Fix the visual issue with fast travel and cinematic transition. Adjusted visual quality of some elements when underwater. Improvements in materials details quality. Fix V's incorrect position when riding a motorcycle. Improvement for interior and exterior light sources. Adjusted dirt quality on medium and low setting. Fix the lack of a crack in the mirror after V smashed it. Fix an issue where pink particles could appear on camera close-up. Improve foliage destruction visuals. Fix the visual issue where pavements could be covered with rectangular shapes in shore areas. Fix the overexposed foliage elements visible when entering a vehicle. Fix an issue where some items could disappear after being destroyed. Carrie's bathrobe is no longer incorrectly attached to his lower part of the body. V's hands are now correctly displayed on a steering wheel while driving. V now leans out of the vehicle correctly during chases. Fix an issue where the character could appear deformed while mounting motorcycles. Fix the level of detail issue occurring for Joy Toys in GG Street. Fix several issues with missing lip sync. Fix multiple issues with NPCs T-posing. Camera no longer flips when V is under an object and jumps. Improve camera movement when entering a vehicle. Fix an issue where some items could be attached to NPCs twice. Fix NPCs shouting after being killed. Jackie no longer shouts, "Nice shot," when V kills enemies while in stealth mode. Fix particle burning effect applied repeatedly when player stands in fire. Fix NPC animation issues after skipping a ride. Fix flickering of stars on the surface of the lake in one of the scenes. Fix faraway terrain disappearing in Badlands. Other city parts visible from the distance now look more realistic due to adjusted lighting. Fix an issue with black weapon scopes during the chase in Riders on the Storm. Improve visual quality of Black Wall in Mikoshi. Fix an issue where the weather state would not adjust correctly after loading saves or exiting to the main menu. Holographic elements in specific character outfits now display correctly. Fix an unwanted jitter effect on frosted glass surfaces. Fix an issue where a white line could be visible at the top of the screen when in cyberspace. UI. Fixed an issue with ads not being properly displayed on curbs. Multiple visual updates and adjustments for ads. Fixed multiple visual issues in quest briefings. Updated the Arabic language layout on quest briefings. Updated grenades icons according to their damage type. Fixed multiple visual issues with the icons display. Fix multiple visual issues in the UI panels, including journal, map, scanner, and others. Fix an issue that paused the game if the shard was read directly from the loot container in a minor activity. Fix freezes and crashes related to equipping and unequipping Johnny's jacket. Added button hints in order to move forward on the treadmill in Where Is My Mind. Fix an issue where database links would not allow jumping to a selected entry. Fix an issue that blocked a player from answering holo calls manually. Entering a vehicle right before opening the vehicle menu should no longer block further progression. The health bar should now be visible during car chases. Performance improvement to the inventory panel. Fix an issue where the NPCs would be tagged as minimal threat regardless of their actual level. Fix multiple issues with button hints. Fix multiple issues in the character creation panel. Fix multiple fixes and improvements to the crafting panel. Fixed issues where the level requirement was not displayed correctly in the upgrade menu. Added an option to craft multiple items at once. Fixed an issue where preview stats show the same values before upgrading an item. Added a crafted icon to the tooltip of crafted items. Fixed multiple issues related to the cyberware panel. Multiple adjustments for the D-pad input. Fixed multiple issues related to HUD elements. Multiple fixes in the inventory and backpack panels. Fixed an issue when weapons could show 0 DPS before looting them. Fixed an improper icon on the clothing item when looting body in Gig, Serial Suicide. Multiple fixes and adjustments to the main menu and settings panel. Fix an issue where replacing mods on some legendary items could add an empty mod slot. Added a disabled state to mod slots when there are no available mods to equip. Optimizations for crafting panel and items display. Fix an overlapping tooltip of body attribute in the character menu. Visual effect for adding attribute points on the character menu should no longer be missing after hovering over the perks tree. Multiple fixes for scanning functionality and its HUD display. Added a toggle to enable, disable, comparing tooltip. Multiple fixes related to buyback pricing and performance improvement in the vendor panel. Fixed an issue where the game could freeze during Ghost Town if a player chose to wait until Rogue is ready right after asking Claire for a drink. Fixed an issue where a player could die right before the scene transition and play it safe, resulting in block progression. Fixed an issue where weapon crosshair did not appear after aiming down or unequipping it. Fixed an issue where the debug text could appear after skipping and fast-forwarding credits. Updated the credits list. Fixed an issue where adds text localization upon scanning did not work properly. Fixed an issue where highlighted dialogue lines when talking to Johnny could not be visible after visiting Hanako and taking the elevator down in Nocturne OP55N1. Fixed an issue where restoring defaults could set all settings to low on second and consecutive launches. Fixed corrupted characters in different languages. Multiple fixes and adjustments for input issues. Various UI performance and stability improvements. Epic and legendary loot dropping from defeated enemies are now better visible on the minimap. Threat level for undiscovered gigs is now displayed correctly. Fixed issues with D-pad and arrows navigation in the menu and inventory. Removed unnecessary health bar animations after loading a save. Fixed item tooltips remaining on screen after closing them. Fixed an issue where the value per unit would be displayed instead of total value in case of items with quantity larger than 1. Fixed issues related to changing gameplay difficulty settings in the menu. My rewards pop-up in the main menu is now hidden when streamer mode is enabled. Fixed issue with broken buildings visible on the main map. Added overhead text size option to the subtitle settings. Fixed multiple text-related issues. Fixed multiple issues related to UI streaming. Stability and performance. This section discusses changes that enter all the platforms, but many of them make a bigger difference on the last generation consoles and lower performance machines. Improved stability and performance of the engine and the rendering engine, reducing the number of random crashes. Memory optimizations and memory management improvements in various systems, reducing the number of crashes. Various optimizations and improvements in shadows, shaders, physics, work spot system, spawn system, scene system, animation system, occlusion system, and facial animation system. Fixed a mechanism for managing UI icons at Lace's memory, which helps with memory-related crashes, especially during long playthroughs. Multiple UI stability improvements and fixes for the most common UI-related crashes. Various crash fixes, among others, in settings menu and upon reloading saves repeatedly during gameplay and GPU-related. Multiple UI performance improvements. Fix the performance drop using controller button mashing, causing V to receive multiple copies of the same item. Fixed detection map markers sometimes appearing broken or glitchy on machines with slower hard drives. Various other stability and performance improvements. Miscellaneous. Fixed incorrect censorship when playing a copy of the game from a region other than Japan, while the console region is set to Japan, or language to Japanese. A settings option to hide potential enemy markers was added to the interface tab. A settings option to hide NPC name overhead display was added to the interface tab. Telemetry consent is now saved in the user profile and synced via the cloud. Logic for loading last checkpoint when there is no existing save file is improved. Fixed game going to a black screen after difficulty is changed in the pause menu. Improved D-pad, arrow navigation in the menus. Navigation and load save menu improved. Fixed fist description in the quick weapon selection menu. Fixed an issue where the player could get locked in an aiming or crouching state after leaving a vehicle. Fixed an issue where jumping or carrying a body into point of no return area could lead to point of no return save not being created. Added fade in on returning to the game after final credits. The "one more gig" message will no longer be displayed when the game ends, and there is no point of return save. Fixed an issue that could cause the money transfer notification to appear as 0 if the player performed a save load cycle right before it showed. Fixed an issue where NPCs were missing their weapons after loading a save. Fixed an issue where engaging in combat in front of Missy's Esoterica could cause a nearby animals bouncer to follow the in a combat state to Victor's clinic in the Ripper Dock. Fixed an issue where Monk's Walk could reset if the monk stepped on a defeated Maelstrom corpse in Losing My Religion. Misty will now walk correctly down the stairs and on the way to El Coyote Cojo bar in Heroes. Telemetry consent request appears once for some players due to an issue causing a reset of settings. PC specific. Enabled ray tracing on AMD graphics cards. Latest GPU drivers are required. Keyboard bindings. More keys are now available for rebinding. Keyboard bindings. It is now possible to bind opening and closing specific panels to the same key. Keyboard bindings. It's now possible to unbind dodge from the movement keys in settings controls. Dodging can still be performed by double tapping the crouch action key, default C. It is now possible to enter journal from the map panel using a keyboard. Achievements will now work on Epic Game Store. Modding. Added a new mod folder for loading modded archives. The modded archives can be named in any way and go into the mod folder now. Having mod archives in the patch folder is no longer supported. Fixed an issue that prevented grenades from being charged after closing a dialog window using escape. Fixed an issue where some environment elements would not be displayed correctly on 8K screens. Fixed an issue where HUD elements would be missing in 8K resolution. Fixed an issue where perks from a certain area of the submenus were not displaying descriptions on 4K and 5K ultra-wide monitor or resolutions. Console specific. Fixed an issue on PlayStation 4 where items couldn't be dropped from the backpack as they would always reappear back in the inventory. Fixed an issue where Johnny's custom HUD wouldn't be present on Xbox One during the concert scene in Love Like Fire. Fixed an issue that caused the game to zoom in when pressing pause on PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox One X. Fixed the streaming issue with the elevator panel in Play It Safe on Xbox One. Improve the mechanism for adjusting the UI texture resolution depending on the platform. Fixed an issue that could cause the game to become unresponsive when pressing A immediately after deleting a save on Xbox One. Fixed an issue on Xbox One that could cause the game to become unresponsive when changing profiles on the title menu. Fixed an issue where loading a game save while being in a car could turn the screen black on Xbox. Various memory handling optimizations on Xbox. Improved screen space reflections. Fixed issues with screen space reflections and temporal anti-aliasing. Fixed rendering issues when fog interacts with nearby lighting on PlayStation 4. Various environment streaming and input-output improvements. Various NPCs and vehicle streaming improvements. Fixed multiple issues with random game freezes. Fixed issues on PlayStation 4 whereby corpses with head dismembered could glitch out. Fixed an issue where V could fall down the elevator shaft. Fix an issue where the game on Xbox One would become unresponsive when signing out while the controller disconnection message is visible. Fix an issue that caused the player to be unable to exit the settings menu after making changes. Claire's truck is now properly placed in the garage in The Beast in Me. Fix the missing water surface shader on PlayStation 4. And Stadia specific. Okay, we'll go over those. Improve stability throughout the title. Fix the missing SFX in crafting menus. Re-implemented a missing prompt for taking a screenshot in I Don't Want to Hear It. Fixed several graphical issues with lighting and cascade shadows. Implemented missing numeric key prompts for Xerte keyboards. And many more. Comments 587. Join the discussion. We're done. 49 minutes of patch notes. All in one take. You love to see it. But happy April Fool's Day. I know it's not a real video, but it's informative as well. But that will do it for me. Like, share, and subscribe if you are so bold. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in a video, hopefully soon. Make it happen. Take care.